But we begin this afternoon with that breaking news. The city of Windsor saying the Ambassador Bridge is crumbling. And right now we've just learned federal safety inspectors are headed to the bridge to investigate.
But the bridge owners say they do not believe it. In a dramatic showdown, the two sides holding dueling news conferences disputing the safety of the aging span. 7 investigator Jonathan Carlson, the only Detroit TV reporter there, and he joins us live in Windsor with these breaking developments. Jonathan.
Yeah, good afternoon. Let me step out of the way. There's the bridge right there that we're talking about. Here's what we've just learned within the last hour. Federal investigators from Transport Canada, the federal body that oversees the bridge, are en route to Windsor as we speak to do an independent inspection of the bridge. The city of Windsor says the bridge company would not allow their inspectors to properly inspect the bridge, so they called in the feds. Finally, the mayor telling us more streets in Windsor could be closed as he showed us a huge piece of the bridge that he says came crashing down. The city of Windsor closing roads under the base of the Ambassador Bridge, claiming falling concrete from the 85-year-old span is posing a safety risk. The vice chair of the bridge, Matt Maroon, holding a press conference late today, and in response to my questions, implied the city may be making it up. The bridge is literally crumbling. How long can it remain open with Band-Aids?
Okay. The bridge is not crumbling.
How can you say it's not crumbling when there's pieces of concrete coming down onto the street and they have to close down the streets?
Well, I haven't seen those pieces of concrete. We haven't seen the report.
He then added this.
Other than innuendo, there has been absolutely no incident. No one has been harmed by any concrete. I haven't heard of that.
For those walking under the span in those closed-off spots, let's hope he's right. Meanwhile, the mayor of Windsor responding to Maroon's statements in a press conference of his own and showing Action News what he says is proof concrete is falling.
And this was specifically the pieces that were found, and this fell down as one piece and broke apparently when it hit the ground. Just imagine if you were walking on the sidewalk and that fell from 50 feet above your head and hit you. There's no doubt that that could have a very serious impact on any human being, up to and including death.
To understand this issue, you have to know the backstory here. There's politics at play. The bridge owners are at odds with governments on both sides of the border. They're competing to build a new bridge, and Maroon is accusing Windsor of dirty politics.
There's a dangerous game being played.
Now, the 7 investigators have learned Maroon's own contractors inspect the bridge once a year. It's due for inspection in 2 weeks, but as I mentioned at the top, Canada doesn't appear to trust them. They're sending in federal inspectors tonight to address all of this. Only Action News is here. We'll stay on top of it for you. We're live in Windsor. I'm Jonathan Carlson, 7 Action News.
So, Jonathan, you mentioned Windsor claiming the bridge company hasn't allowed them to look at it, inspect it. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, essentially what the city of Windsor said was their inspectors were only allowed to visually inspect the bridge where that concrete was falling. The bridge company wouldn't allow their inspectors to actually physically touch the bridge. So that's why they're calling in the federal inspectors, who essentially are the governing body of the safety of the bridge. They're able to come in and do an inspection that the city feels is a proper one.
All right, Jonathan, thank you much for that live report. We'll have to see what happens there. Well,